Good morning, guys. Today we're going to be reviewing the Deluxe M800 wireless because this is a confusing mouse since if you find it wherever you buy it, whether it's AliExpress or Amazon, you might be getting a 3325 version or a 3335 version or a 3370 or a 3389. Just so you know, I think the 3389 and I think there's another version of that as well. They're both wired, and the 3335 and the 3325, which I do not recommend, are the wireless ones. And before I get started, I actually checked the DPI deviation on this mouse, and on this particular copy I got, I only had 0.1 DPI deviation on 400 DPI, which is really nice to see. And I think I just got a lucky copy, but you know, keep that in mind. This sensor does have some DPI deviation issues, so be ready to adjust accordingly with that. But with that out of the way, I think we can get started. Starting off with the shape, this is basically just a VIPER Mini, slightly upscaled to a little bit of a bigger size. The sides are a little bit bigger and the length is a little bit longer, but not by much. It's definitely closer to the VIPER Mini than the VIPER Ultimate. It's great for fingertip and claw. I love using this in both, really. It fills my palm really well when it's in claw, and the coating never gave me problems with sweat or anything. Curves here in the middle are great for my 131 grip and adjusting vertically. It also has the VIPER Mini hump towards the middle-ish back a little bit. It's great for fingertip and claw, like I said. Going into the coating, the clicks are smooth, but they get grippy once you start getting that little bit of condensation when gaming. The back hump is a different texture from the clicks and the sides, and it's a little bit rougher, a little bit more coarse. I like this texture a lot more than this. I wish they would swap the textures or something, but it's not a huge deal. It definitely feels good on my palm when I claw it, and I've never had any sweat issues with it. These side grips, they have this pattern on them that's basically etched on. That's the same, but it's the same like texture as the clicks. So it is a little bit slippery, but it's grippy enough with the pattern that they put on it. It's not a huge issue, but this coating and the plastics that they use are kind of what make this mouse definitely feel a little bit cheaper, but everything else about it is stellar in my opinion. About the build, most notably, the biggest issue I've come across is that I think that there's either sensor rattle or some other type of internal rattle that isn't the clicks or the scroll wheel. You can hear it right now. I haven't had any problems when playing, and I don't notice it when I'm just swiping around normally. It's an issue, but I think I just got a faulty copy. If it is sensor rattle, then it probably will happen on other copies, but I haven't heard anything about that yet. No side flex or creak where I grip it, and I'm pressing pretty hard. But if you press towards, closer to the buttons, you can activate it pretty easily. No bottom or hump flex though, nothing there, which is really good to see on a mouse of $40. Clicks have only a little bit of side play, a little bit on the left and a little bit on the right, not too much, not a huge deal. It's got a weight of about 70 grams, so it's even lighter than the VIPER Ultimate, although I think you could get it a little bit lighter since it is pretty, a little bit, significantly enough to get into the 60 range in weight. A little bit of pre-travel as well in the clicks, but nothing noticeable since they're tensioned very heavily and they're very thick clicks as well, which leads me right into my next point, the clicks. They're super clicky and quite stiff. They're pretty thick as well, but really defined as well. Let me make you listen to these. The main clicks feel like 4.0 Reds, but a little bit more aggressive, although I haven't opened up this mouse, so don't take my word for it. There is a possibility that these are 4.0 Reds, but I don't actually know, so keep that with a grain of salt. But they definitely feel like it a little bit. The side buttons feel super cheap though. It feels like a toy that you would find at the thrift store or something. It really feels bad. If you're a big side button user and you care about side buttons, do not get this mouse because they feel horrible, honestly. The middle click is pretty heavy, but it's not too heavy like certain Zowie scroll wheels. But the actual scrolling experience on this, it's quite awkward because the scroll wheel you can feel the steps a little bit, and the scroll wheel is really heavy, but you can't really, like, it's hard to feel the steps like consistently. It's a very light bump, but it's tensioned very heavily. All right, getting into the cable, actually, this cable is really notable because it's better than some paracords I've used, and when I use it wired, I almost forget that it's wired. It's that good. It's so flexible. It's so lightweight. I love using this cable. It's honestly great. The feet, however, aren't that good. They're black feet. They're not rounded either, so you can feel a little bit of scratchiness. I've worn them in quite a bit since I got them, but keep in mind that, yeah, they are lousy black feet, and they're not rounded as well. Not to mention that these top feet are really thin, and VIPER mini feet don't fit this part well. They fit down here, but they won't fit this one, so you'll have to find aftermarket feet. I know DIY dots will not fit in these, so you need something a little bit thinner, like the old MX518 feet, which I will review soon enough on this mouse. Actually, as for the wireless on this mouse, it's really good. It's really good. I have my receiver connected to the adapter from Logitech, and I have no problems with it. No sensor, you know. I've heard of some people actually having the mouse stop tracking when playing games, but I haven't had that issue. I've heard that some people resolve that issue by connecting it to a receiver, and I've heard some people have that issue still persist as well. So keep in mind, this wireless is not exactly perfect. You might get a lousy batch, but since you are buying from Amazon, you do have that return policy, so take advantage of that when you can. Another thing to note is that the mouse goes to sleep very quickly. Sometimes it'll literally just, like, I'll leave the room to just like grab a bottle of water, come back, my mouse will be asleep. And it's not that big of an issue. It's never bothered me in game. It's never happened in game, but it is something to keep in mind that you will have to click this mouse to keep it moving, like, or when it goes to sleep, you'll have to click it to start it back up, basically. It's not that big of an issue. It's more of a first world problem, really, but keep it in mind. Battery life is stellar as long as you have RGB off. If you have RGB on, then the battery life goes to shit so quickly. I think I used up my battery after 12 hours of use with the brightness all the way at the max. So if you like RGB, maybe this isn't the mouse for you. But yeah, that's basically it. Charges really quickly. Yeah, that's all I have for you. I recommend this mouse definitely, especially for VIPER mini lovers that are tired of waiting for Razer to make a wireless VIPER mini. And I can't recommend this enough, especially with a 20% coupon that I used on it. It was like $36, taxes make it $40. It's a no-brainer, especially for a wireless mouse of this quality. I recommend it. I give it a 8.8 out of 10, just because the plastic doesn't feel that nice and because of the rattle issues. But that's all I have for you right now. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter. Thank you so much for the support recently. Bye-bye.